What did you mean before?
What do you mean, what did I mean?
All that hinting around about the dire reasons I didn't want to help you with this.
Dire, because you're dyeing my hair. I get it.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. It's been a long time coming, and you intellectuals have been patient. But we're finally gonna do it. We're finally gonna discuss one of, if not Daria's most memorable episode, Die, My Darling. But before we do, I know. I just need to give some quick context. Die, My Darling is Daria's season 4 finale, and unlike the finales that came before it, or really any episodes before season 4, there was quite a bit of build-up. It started in the season 3 finale where we first met Tom. Hi, Tom! And continued into the episode I Loathe the Parade. Throughout season 4, there were other moments similar to I Loathe the Parade where we saw Daria and Tom getting along while some friction and or misunderstanding brewed between Jane and Tom.
Hey, Daria left me a message about a Fellini film festival.
You gave Daria your number?
You did. So we could go rescue her for Mother-Daughter Bonding Day?
Right. I was just about to call your house to see where you were.
Because I'm 10 minutes late? Wow, 7 o'clock. Sorry, guess I lost track of the time.
Really, the only episode you need before going into this one is I Loathe the Parade, hence why I reviewed it. But it's important to note that what happens in Die, My Darling was built up throughout season 4, especially in the episode before this one, Fire, where a good chunk of the tone was set. Alright, you waited long enough. Let's do this. The episode starts at the zoo where Jane is studying a tiger for an art project with Trent being there as support.
Thanks for the company, Trent.
But why didn't you ask Tom or Daria?
You and I never go for rides anymore. We need to go for more rides.
Oh, I do appreciate the sibling vibe between Jane and Trent. They do their best to be there for each other as well as support each other. But yeah, Jane's not exactly being upfront here. And if you've never seen this episode before, her looking away from Trent while giving this facial expression is supposed to be a hint. Possibly. So I've praised the voice acting for this show in the past, but rewatching this episode made me realize just how well it complements the simplistic art style. These facial expressions are very simplistic, yet when combined with the delivery of the characters' lines, one can surprisingly read a lot into them. We transition to the next morning in the Morgendorfer house where Helen is getting ready for work earlier than usual, saying out loud that this is the biggest case she's ever had. The scene isn't too long, it's just meant to set up Helen's role in the story. Sometime later, we see Daria doing her usual and heading to the lanes to hang out with Jane.
Hello? Oh.
Well, that's awkward. I'm not mad though. The girl both knocked and called out before entering, though she certainly could have given them more time to respond. Still, even if Daria could have guessed these two wanted some alone time, which is unlikely since we know she doesn't understand certain dating social cues, the door was open.
Oops.
Boy.
Suspicious. Sorry about that.
No biggie. You had to learn about kissing sometime.
Nice save, Jane. Jane shows Daria her latest painting, one of her with striped hair, which explains the tiger studying earlier.
Don't you get it? The lady or the tiger? Now you don't have to choose.
Very nice. Or is it a cry for help?
Hold on, Daria. We're not quite there yet. Jane lets Daria know that this is just step 1 of her project. Step 2 is dyeing stripes into Jane's actual hair, and she wants Daria to help her do it. The two head to the store to pick up the ingredients needed, but Daria is, predictably, not comfortable being brought into this.
And if you tell me one more time that you don't want to do this, I'll hit you over the head with this bottle of Peaceful Sunrise Blonde.
You know I have no aptitude for this sort of thing.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that Jane is trying to get you to participate in something she knows you won't like and aren't good at, but then again, as demonstrated in I Loathe the Parade, company makes a huge difference to situations. Maybe Jane just thinks the new experience will be more fun if her best friend is there.
Daria, this is the kind of activity that teen girls do together to cement their friendships. Don't you want to cement our friendship?
I'd probably do better with actual cement.
Methinks thou doth protesteth too much.
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, Daria, my words exactly. Protest too much. Jane, this is Daria. She's always protesting, even when things are going good for her. Yet you're somehow suspicious because she's protesting while you ask her to do something you know she doesn't like doing?
Come on, why don't you want to help me, really?
What part of Daria's reasoning makes you think she's trying to hide something from you? She's acting very in character right now.
Look, I'll help you, Kay. Just pick a blonde and let's go with it, all right?
Now you're talking.
That's called emotional manipulation, and it's not fair. Seriously, Jane, you're using Daria's want to avoid having conflict with you to make her do something she doesn't want to do, and that's a very low blow. Not that you're doing it on purpose, but still. Back at Jane's house, the girls are almost ready to get their hair project underway, but Daria is still resistant. Also, this moment has one of the funniest jokes in the entire show, but unfortunately, said joke contains a swear word, and I try to minimize those on my channel, so go look it up yourself.
What do I do?
Grab a hunk of hair and start painting.
Since they've got nowhere to go, Daria starts questioning why Jane was so passive-aggressive to her earlier, to which we finally start to get an explanation to, well, everything Jane is going through this episode.
I thought, maybe you were a little jealous of me and Tom.
I wish I had a mouth so I could do a spit take because what?
What?
Again, took the words out of my mouth.
And it's okay. Believe me, I'm sure if I were in your position.
What position?
Jane's not a dwarf, but she's digging a hole.
I just mean the way you're always accidentally barging in on us and just happening to find yourself alone with him.
Holy dodongo, she's still going. Like, geez Louise, these are some seriously uncomfortable accusations, and it is bold of Jane to make them while Daria has control of her hair. But at least Jane's communicating and being honest. I much prefer this over the passive aggression she was doing earlier. Daria gets understandably upset at the accusations and shuts them down, claiming Jane is delusional. The conversation ends there with Jane suggesting they should talk about it later, which is where we transition to.
Oh, Daria, look, forget it. I imagined the whole thing.
You didn't mean that. Hey, remember how Daria said she was scared she would mess up the project?
What did you do to me?
I told you I was no good at this.
She did indeed tell you that. I was there.
Can't you paint a lousy stripe?
No, this is Daria. She's not good at hair stuff nor most art stuff. You know this. And even if you didn't, she told you several times.
You did this on purpose, to take Tom away from me.
What?
I know, serious moment, but that accusation, Jane was just so ready for it. Like, she could have claimed Daria was upset at the jealousy stuff or being roped into the project, which would have been very plausible. But Jane jumped straight into relationship sabotage.
Get out of here, Daria.
Let me fix it.
How are you gonna fix it?
I don't know.
Just get out.
Another reason I think the simple faces work is because of how well the characters have been established. I know how much Jane means to Daria, that Daria hates the thought of her life without Jane in it. So seeing Daria sad immediately after Jane yells at her tugs at my heartstrings, even if her expression isn't very detailed. We transition to later with Trent driving Jane back to the store.
Look, you're gonna have to go into the drugstore and get the dye. Just get anything black.
Then why are you even here? He could have gotten the dye by himself. Oh wait, this is Trent. He's not the most reliable person if you're not there to watch him do the thing he's supposed to do. Jane tries to vent about how angry she is with Daria, but bouncing her ideas off of Trent backfires because him asking her simple questions makes her realize how unfair she's being. Jane misses the next day of school and Daria tries to get in touch with her but has no luck. So instead, Daria calls who would she call with no Jane around?
I don't care if your mother's getting executed. Do you understand? Hello?
Marianne, this is Daria Morgendorfer. Is my mother available?
Yes, yes, yes!
Daria, is it very important? This isn't a great time.
No, I'll call back. Thanks.
No, no, no!
We were so close!
Instead of calling her mom, which would have been an amazing scene, Daria decides to call up Tom. Initially, this action got me very worried since it seemed like the opposite of a good idea to call your best friend's boyfriend when she just accused you of being jealous of her relationship. But Daria reveals she's only doing it to see if Tom's heard from Jane, which is understandable.
So I just wanted to make sure she's all right.
Well, she was all right enough to call me late last night yelling stuff I didn't understand and making freaky accusations.
Tom, you're right to be upset, but time and place. Daria is currently worried about Jane. She's not trying to get into your drama.
I'm really getting tired of this, Daria, you know? It's like we talked about at the parade.
I think I'm gonna go over there and see how she's doing.
Oh yeah.
Good job, Daria. Given everything that's happened, the last thing you need right now is to listen to Tom vent about Jane. Daria does go to the Lane house and Jane answers the door with fixed hair. The two decide to discuss both the hair situation as well as Jane's accusations. And this is where the whole copyright thing bites me in the butt harder than usual because this scene is really well written, really well voice acted, and I really want to show the entire thing without interruptions. Alas, consistent commentary is necessary, so consistent commentary I shall give. They start with the hair, in which Daria, desperate for her friend to forgive her, throws herself at Jane's mercy.
I'm really sorry. I warned you. That doesn't make it any better. I'm sorry.
Well, Daria, it doesn't make what you did any better, but it does make the situation better because your motivations are proof against Jane's sabotage accusations. You did everything you could to prevent the hair screw up from happening. Not to mention, Jane gave you horrible advice thinking you'd understand painting at all, let alone as much as she does. Ultimately, Jane is what caused the problem.
I didn't screw your hair up on purpose. I would never do that.
And yet again, I must point to the simplistic expressions and how effective they are. I think for Daria specifically, hers hits so hard because she usually lacks any expression. The moment has to really mean something to her if it can manage to make her emote, and it breaks my heart whenever she gets sad enough to do it. It's like hearing someone swear who almost never does. It means more when they specifically do it. Next is the discussion about Tom, in which Jane stops beating around the bush. She straight up asks if there's anything between Daria and Tom, to which Daria immediately denies.
So you don't want to go out with him?
Of course not.
And you've never made out or anything?
Come on.
I know, I'm sorry.
You want to know the main reason I love this scene?
Not really.
I go on and on about how I detest problems in stories that can be easily solved, but the characters refuse to properly communicate. Well, what we have here is two friends trying to solve problems by communicating. Despite that, said communication requires both of them to be vulnerable with each other. Daria feels awkward trying to apologize to Jane for the hair situation, but her getting her feelings out is the most direct way to confront the problem. Jane doesn't want to admit that she's actually the one who's jealous, but it's the best and probably only way to get a straight answer. Seriously, Daria and Jane's friendship might just be my favorite in all of fiction. I'm still debating on that though. Batman and Superman are a tough team to beat. With Daria's assurance, Jane starts feeling better and instantly forgives the hair thing, even though, again, it wasn't Daria's fault. Actually, that is something that might have made this scene better, Jane apologizing for gaslighting Daria. Then again, I guess it's not needed since the situation has been dealt with. With her friendship saved, Daria heads home but runs into Tom, who's been waiting for her.
What are you doing here?
I wanted to talk to you.
That's not a good sign.
Do you want to come in?
No, there are these girls in there. Why don't you get in the car?
Or you could get out. Daria, don't do it. Jane just confided in you that she was scared of you developing feelings for Tom.
Did you want to talk about Jane?
Okay, it's not all bad. It makes sense that Jane's best friend and her boyfriend would discuss their concerns with.
Nope.
Oh, then what?
Oh goodness, run, Daria! Get out of there! Tom says he wants to discuss his and Daria's situation, but Daria doesn't like the assertion that they even have one.
Leave me alone, I gotta go.
Wait, why is everyone so mad at me?
Tom. You are having trouble with your girlfriend, and instead of dealing with that, you want to talk about your quote-unquote situation with another girl. There are some very sus things going on here, my dude. I feel like people deserve to be mad at you. Shoot, I'm not even a part of this situation, and I'm mad at you. Daria rants to Tom that she's annoyed he's interfering with the one good relationship she has in her life. Tom angrily responds by saying all he did was go out with someone, and now it's not working out.
Would you still be bored with her if I weren't around?
Probably. And more to the point, she'd be bored with me.
Tom, you are saying all of this as if you've already broken up with Jane. Last I checked, you two are still dating. Go deal with her.
Because I'm not interested in you, and I'd be stabbing my friend in the back if I even considered it.
Exactly. And what kind of a jerk would that make me?
Exactly.
All right then.
Okay.
Go ahead, play the music. Well, that just sucks. Also, Tom, it's a good thing you're considered attractive because that would be sexual harassment otherwise. Nice little touch having Daria swear like her father after the kiss.
I liked it too.
That's not funny.
I know.
Okay, Daria, listen. What just happened sucked, but you can still salvage this. Tom kissed you. Even though you liked it, you did not kiss him. You are a victim here. Get out of the car and you can still say you didn't betray poopy. So this might disappoint some of you guys, but this moment actually didn't surprise me, mainly because it was all but spoiled for me. I knew going into this show that Daria was eventually going to get a boyfriend, and I had a lot of people tell me that a boy named Tom was going to cause a rift between Daria and Jane. So when Tom first appeared, I was very shocked that he was Jane's boyfriend instead of Daria's. But when they showed Daria and him connecting on an intellectual level and Jane not getting their inside jokes, I knew exactly where this was going to go. The next day, Daria continues to ponder what happened, ignoring everything everyone is saying to her. Eventually, she snaps out of her stupor to ask Quinn some questions.
Is Mom around?
What?
I need to talk to Mom.
Yes, where is Helen? She would definitely be able to help here. Unfortunately, Helen is still super busy with her job, so Daria tries asking Quinn for some advice. Desperate times and all that.
If your best friend were going out with someone and you kissed him, would you tell her?
Are you crazy? Why would I do that?
So Daria goes to school with the advice of Quinn in her head.
What's going on? What's new? How you doing?
Y'all keep doing this thing with their height and you keep thinking I won't notice.
Hey, what's up? Talk to me.
Ah, jeez, thanks a lot, Quinn. Now we gotta sit through the stupid sitcom blunder of Daria avoiding telling Jane the truth even though it's the right thing to do.
I kissed your boyfriend.
And Jane is eventually gonna find out there's some stupid, unlucky third-party shenanigans.
What?
I kissed your boyfriend.
And the stupid moral is gonna be about how Daria should have just been honest in the first place.
I kissed Tom. I didn't mean to.
All because these stupid scriptwriters can't figure out how to think outside the box. Nani?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. I cannot begin to tell you intellectuals just how ecstatic I was when I first saw this scene of Daria immediately blurting out the truth. It's such a breath of fresh air to not have to go through that cliche trope, which, and this might be a surprise to you, I think is very stupid. And not only that, but I just gained so much respect for Daria. Telling Jane the truth will have major consequences, and Daria could have possibly gotten away with hiding it, at least for a while. But she cares about Jane. She decided to do the right thing, even though it was hard. Oh man, I haven't felt this much relief at a subversion of expectations since...
I lied.
What?
There's no Carla Mercedes-Benz Brown. I have no idea who your mother is.
What?
I just don't want to have a relationship where we lie to each other.
So Jane heads to Tom's place and the well-deserved yelling commences.
How could
I didn't mean to. It just happened.
That's a lie!
Bruh, your hormones don't stop you from having agency. You definitely meant to do what you did. Although I guess what he means is he didn't set out to do it, which is true. He still murdered Jane's emotions, but it was second-degree murder, not first.
How could she?
She didn't do anything. It was all my fault.
If only that were true, but she kissed you back, my dude. Although I will give you some points for attempting to take the full blame because it was mostly your fault. After calming down a bit, Jane and Tom are able to air out their feelings.
We should have just broken up, and I never should have dragged Daria into it.
Exactly! Too bad you're a day late and $1 short.
What do you mean we should have just broken up?
Come on. We weren't going anywhere. We were about to break up.
Yeah. You're gonna have just a super time dating Daria. She loves to have fun.
You want to talk about it, Jane?
I didn't say I was going to date her. I know how antisocial she is.
Hey, she's all right. Give her a chance.
Wow, what a 180. Even when Jane hates her, she's still Daria's best friend.
Just, look, all that time, were you going out with me just to get to her?
Are you crazy?
I don't know. Am I?
The vulnerability, it's so good. We don't normally picture Jane as someone who doubts herself or who needs others to boost her confidence, but man, is this a perfect time to put her in such a position.
You're smart and you're funny. You have a great attitude. You do everything on your own terms. You're like from a cooler world.
I am, aren't I?
Tom, I still hate what you did, but man, do you make it difficult to stay angry at you. We transition to Helen. That's weird. You'd think we would have cut to Daria.
Helen.
What is it? I told you not to interrupt me for anything. Daria?
That's what we've been waiting for!
Seeing that her daughter needs her help, Helen drops what she's doing and takes Daria out to a restaurant so they can chat. Daria tells Helen about the entire situation, and at first, Helen attempts a traditional speech about hormones, but Daria needs something more authentic.
It's a lousy situation, Daria, but you didn't set out to hurt anyone.
No, but I can't imagine how I could have hurt Jane more. You know, I had everything more or less under control, and now nothing's under control.
It never is, sweetie. We just tell ourselves otherwise so we can function.
Life sucks.
Sometimes.
Don't you have to be getting back to that huge case of yours?
Oh, don't worry about that. It's completely under control.
God, I love that moment so much. I know how much Helen loves Daria, but I crave the moments where Daria gets to realize it herself. I don't even know if what Helen said is good advice, and honestly, I don't care. I'm very weak to good parenting moments, and I just love the fact that Helen unregrettably dropped everything she was doing with the biggest case she's ever had, mind you, to help her daughter. I also love that Daria, who is at her wit's end, felt she could come to Helen. As much of a hard time as Helen gives Daria, when the woman wants to, she's very good at making her daughter feel better, even if she doesn't have all the answers. In all honesty, I'm projecting. Once I got old enough to realize how much my parents sacrificed for me, it caused me to really appreciate characters like Helen. Speaking of caring family members, Trent sees his sister is sad and decides to do something about that.
Lift?
Nah.
Come on, we need to go for more rides.
Another weakness of mine, I love when dialogue is repurposed and used later in a story.
That your body's part of a permanent outplacement.
Hey, that's kind of like what he said to you when you got fired.
Trent and Jane have a talk which can basically be summed up as everything will be alright. It's a parallel to Daria's moment with Helen, although much shorter. Realizing what she has to do, Jane asks Trent to take her to Daria so they can finally talk about what's happening.
Hello.
Hi.
Tom and I broke up.
Not because of me.
No, not because of you. So I don't care if you go out with him.
Come on. Nobody's that well adjusted.
Tom and you makes more sense than Tom and me, so you go ahead and date him, and I'll get used to going out for pizza by myself.
So you don't hate me?
Of course I hate you. You tell me you're gonna stay away from him, and 5 minutes later you're making out in a car. Why'd you even get in?
Oh, thank goodness, real emotion. I would have been severely disappointed if this wrapped up with inauthentic niceness.
The lady or the tiger? You turned out to be a little of both, eh? I don't know why I made you color my hair in the first place.
I do, and I've been waiting all episode to talk about it.
Very nice. Or is it a cry for help?
I do really like how the episode never actually explains why Jane did all this. I feel like there's enough clues to figure it out yourself. Something we humans tend to do when we face an unfortunate situation is attempt to regain some control over our lives by making changes to ourselves. The classics are working out for guys and getting a haircut for girls. Jane felt her relationship with both Tom and Daria was in danger, so the Lady or the Tiger project was likely a response to try and regain some control over her life. Such a spicy look could also possibly respark her relationship with Tom. Jane likely asked Daria to help her because, well, as she said,
Daria, this is the kind of activity that teen girls do together to cement their friendships.
If Daria helped Jane do the thing that successfully rekindled her romantic relationship, it would put to rest both her worries about Tom and her worries that Daria would be the one to take him away from her. Two birds, one stone. This is why Jane accused Daria of having ulterior motives to not wanting to help her. In Jane's mind, if Daria had no interest in Tom, she would want to help. Unfortunately, Daria messing up the dye job had the opposite effect and actually confirmed to Jane that Daria would sabotage her romantic relationship, which she did get the right conclusion, but for very wrong reasons.
Are we still friends?
Yeah, we're the kind of friends who can't stand the sight of each other.
Temporarily, right?
I hope so, Daria.
The episode ends with Daria answering the phone to Tom on the other end, and I can't help but be annoyed because good gravy, dude, give the girl some time. You just broke up with her best friend, whom you know she's currently in a fight with. This all alludes to more shenanigans to come in the future. By the way, if you're like me and you own this series on DVD, do not just watch the next episode. Take the disc out and put in the final disc, which has all the movies. There's one called Is It Fall Yet? That's supposed to be watched after this episode. I didn't know that, jumped straight into season 5, and was so confused. And that was Die Die My Darling. Good golly goodness, such a fantastic episode. I'm guessing most people who like this do so because the situation is messy and realistic, but I'm not included in that. I'm a happily ever after kind of guy. Realistic or not, I don't really like seeing breakups. However, I still adore this episode because it's people communicating in a believable way about their complicated emotions and vulnerable states of being. Both Daria and Jane made stupid mistakes in this episode, but I can easily forgive them because when the time came, they analyzed themselves, talked, and did their best to figure things out. The only real annoyance is Tom, who acts very selfishly during parts, but his gentlemanly nature makes it so that he's at least not intolerable. Helen helping Daria out gives my brain so much dopamine. Not to mention Trent and Jane's little moment. They already get along plenty, but seeing it reinforced was fantastic. And of course, at the heart of it all is the friendship between the two main characters. I've said from the beginning that I enjoy when this relationship is tested, and boy does this episode do some testing. All in all, Die Die My Darling has reasons to be considered so memorable. Not just because it's one of the most defining moments in the show, but also because of how well everything is executed. The complicated emotions and uncertain situations bring out these already well-defined characters into a whole new appreciative light. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.